I am very curious because you do realize that even though you're telling me that you learned from this negative experience, but what I have found, and correct me if maybe you think otherwise, is that from a negative experience, either you can take the route that you took as far as you're not making it a positive, or you can just turn that mindset into that just the way it is, and that's how I'm going to be as well.
Absolutely. You couldn't put it any better, actually. I mean, part of me being a leader or mentor to any person that wants to listen to any talk that I do is that the one thing you cannot control is who were your parents and your birth, right? You can't control that. You can't control if you came from an affluent family or a poverty-stricken family like me. I cannot control that I'm a son of immigrant family, a mom who picked in the field. I cannot control that. But what I can control is that day forward, right? And so I think we complain about everything wrong with us. We're in a woe me society. Look at me, woe is me, and we victimize. And by the time we're spending so much time victimizing ourselves, Eli, that we don't realize that the human spirit is a very resilient mechanism, if you will. It could withstand the harshest of pressure, but we don't test ourselves that way. We don't do that extra rap.
Why do you think that is?
Because of fear, right? I'll give you an example. I'm not a fighter or anything like that, but like if you ever see UFC and someone gets knocked in the face at the right spot, at the right velocity, the right pressure, what happens to that guy's brain? Well, it shuts down like a computer, right? You see them just turn stiff, right? And that's the brain protecting the body from further damage. So the brain is not good for dreams. The brain, what the brain does is protect you. So it operates in what I call in a lot of ways, not all the time, but in a lot of ways, it operates in fear mode, and fear prohibits you from growth, right? And so I learned to operate with my heart and make a shit ton of mistakes that way. I do, but because I make my decisions so much quicker than I would say other people, I make a lot more mistakes, but I get to my destination quicker. So instead of people like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I think I should invest in talking about my field, or I think I should meet this person, I think I should ask this girl out, ask this guy out, whatever the case may be, do it. Do it. Make your mistake, take notes, reflect, and move on. You're not, my mentor in New York City, he's a Chinese criminal defense attorney and a big-time real estate developer. But he literally would analyze a person so quickly and then get the information. And I'm like, okay, we're going to go home. We're going to talk about this. We're going to do this, this, and that. He'd be like, let's go. And I'm like, Irvin, you don't even have 70% of the information. He's like, I don't. But the 69% that I have is worth me taking the risk. And I'm not going to waste my time so that someone else can take that risk for me. If I fail, I know where to correct it right away. And so those are the lessons that I learned. So I make my decisions pretty quickly in life, and I make a lot more mistakes. But as a result, I get to the destinations that I want a little bit quicker. My path is a little bit clearer because I know exactly. It's just there's no failure for me. There really is no failure. There's no you competing against me competing against another person. I have no competition. It's me. It's me every day. So when people talk about rankings and this or that, me vale, because I know where I want to be. It's very clear and evident as to what I want to do. And so that just requires me putting in the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's so encouraging to hear you say all these things. I know I have a lot more questions around
mindset
and all that.
Go right.
But let me start with that. Is this, you think that you're born with a mindset like this? Is this in your experiences like your childhood? Can an adult person that knows that for the most part they always are negative, or maybe they're afraid of again putting themselves out there? Is this a skill that you can learn, or is
Absolutely.
this something?
Absolutely. I think there's certain people that have this God-given unique ability. Like I could sing a little bit, but I see certain people, I'm like, it's God-given. Or I saw this guy on one of those talent shows. He's blind and autistic, and he was playing the piano. I'm like, that's God-given. Like you're a special, like God just put a special drop of creation on you, But I also believe that there's people that if they hang around the right people, they put in the grit, the work, and put their head down, don't worry about the noise, cut their circle of friends very tight, they become very polished, Eli. And when they become polished, it becomes so impossible for someone who's not polished to destroy that, right? And so the reason why I'm confident in my field in certain aspects of work, people or whatnot, is because I know I put in the time.
Yeah.
And mathematically, I feel that it's impossible for someone who hasn't put in the time to beat me in my field. Once again, I'm not trying to go on any rankings. My goal is very specific. Very few people know exactly what I want for my retirement. And I don't really care about what my awards are. I'm talking about, like, once you become polished and you know exactly what you need to do, it's a mindset. And so that's why I kind of gravitate to just the crazies. The crazies are the ones that, they're people don't really understand why they're that crazy, why they're that driven, why they're so. It's that's kind of like, you can develop it.
You can develop it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's funny how we were talking a little bit before we started recording the podcast, how in my take it's kind of like a similar mentality, and the thing when I'm doubting something, it's always courage over comfort.
Absolutely.
Courage over comfort.
Love
and
that.
Just do it,
Love that.
because the consequences, going back to, like, there is no competition, it's all me.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to teach my daughter, and what has helped me with my confidence, is just small wins. If I do this and I have built enough small wins, that's going to help me with the next step.
Absolutely.
Right? So